Okay, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of ways in which you can start working on your figurative sculpture in your active pose. So I highly recommend using tinfoil or aluminum foil because it's kind of the most versatile. It's really easy to sort of sculpt and move and bend, but you can also use other materials like cardboard. Like I've got my my old container of the sodas, and I've just cut some little pieces. I'm going to sort of talk about the tinfoil first. Okay, so think about how your figure is going to sort of move. Okay, so I'm going to sort of start with kind of a line of motion. All right, so maybe my figure is kind of like twisting and kind of like moving in this sort of way. Like maybe this is kind of a back and it's kind of like arching and turning this way. Okay, and then I can start forming tear that off. Some other pieces. I can start forming some arms. Kind of wrapping around in an area. Twisting it, I can kind of compress it. Okay, so I kind of have this form here, kind of like twisting in this active pose. It's kind of like reaching out this way. Maybe I want, this is kind of like more of a neck, so I'm going to put maybe more of a ball on there. Okay, so maybe this is like one leg, and I can kind of keep wrapping pieces around it. Okay, so maybe this is its leg, and again, okay, maybe it's got like a bent leg. Okay, and notice, and just kind of be careful of how much material you're adding, because this leg is a lot thicker than the other leg, so I'm probably going to go back and beef this up. And take a piece and then use your scissors, or you can tear it, because you can use scissors. This stuff cuts just easily with scissors to kind of beef this up, but you don't want to just keep balling it, because then you're going to end up with this kind of little spheroid thing. So right now, it's not really wanting to stand on its own. Okay, I could do something like that, but that might not be the pose that you want. So one of the ways that you can make sure that it's staying on its own is to create like a little stand or a base. Okay, so this is just my thin cardboard, and I can kind of tape it down using my masking tape or other tape that I have. Okay, so I'm going to try to tape that there. Okay, and you see it's standing up pretty well on its own, and I've only got one little piece of tape on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. May need a little more tape. Turn that a little bit. Tape it around this way. Okay, like so. And it's staying up pretty well. Okay, and I've got my nice little active pose here on my base. Now, this is not the prettiest thing in here. This is like kind of like, it's sort of looking a little hodgepodge, not that great. So you can cover the whole thing with aluminum foil on the base there. Maybe make some little cuts and get it around these little feet areas and kind of stick it in there, maybe tape it on the underside. That's a way to pretty it up a little bit. Or you could put like colored paper on there, so you kind of have a different kind of ground thing, so that it doesn't look like all one shiny form. So it's a little bit differentiated between the ground and the actual figure. Okay, and remember, you have to be 6 inches tall. Now, you can also use like a thicker cardboard if you have it laying around. But again, other things like this stuff, cereal boxes, usually have this stuff left over from food packaging. Now, one more thing, if for some reason yours is getting pretty big and heavy and it's not wanting to stay on this base, but mine seems to be pretty good, you can find a heavy object, like I've just got this can of tuna fish here, and I could just simply, because this is kind of like an impermanent sculpture, it's not like a permanent one, I could make some tape rolls, I could stick it on my tuna can, a couple tape rolls, and I could stick this straight on there. And now I've got a really heavy base that even if, like, my tape, well, that's going to bend it, but I could put a lot more material on there and it's going to stand straight up because I've got that base on there. Okay, so those are some ways you can use the foil. Now, if you don't have the foil, you can cut strips of cardboard and you can kind of twist it around on like a pencil. It's a little more time consuming if you don't have the foil. Okay, and then I can kind of tape those in place with the tape. And I could take this, and then I could take another one, kind of at an angle there. Oops, there's a little rip in that one. And I'm going to sort of work it around my pencil tool. Or if you happen to have a chopstick, it's a little bit tighter of a turn. And then I could take this one on here. So I'm creating another, maybe that's a limb, or that's like part of a leg, or something else. Okay, so you can use cardboard and tape as well if you don't have the foil.